This is very exciting here. We are, what are you laughing at already, Chris Cote?
We're in Tahoe. I'm looking around and I'm happy.
That's one of your signature opens. Whenever it's Stugotz driving, this is very exciting. You know how to set a scene. We're literally at a practice range. There's nothing exciting going on.
We're at the driving range at the Edgewood Country Club in Tahoe. My throat and my voice is in bad shape. Why? I had 4 heaters. I mean, I did. Listen, well, Chris, here's the deal. What time is it here? It's 10:24 here, but my lungs, they're on East Coast time.
Your lungs are already working for the weekend.
Jimmy Roberts just came over and said hello. I mean, a legend.
Fantastic.
He thought you were Dan.
No, he didn't.
He was looking for Dan, closely inspecting.
Jerry Rice is on the practice range right now.
Yeah.
We got a lot to do here. We want to set the scene for today. We want to paint the picture from last night.
But, Chris, this is different than last year. There's the sponsors are out in full force. The fans are out in full force. There's a lot more people here than there were last year. Mike Ryan's here for the first time. What are your impressions so far, Mike? Because you were on this is the type of thing that happens at Tahoe. You're on the range. You're getting ready for a 1 o'clock tee time, 2.5 hours beforehand, okay?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Jay Bilas strolls over, and tells you to tee it up higher.
Yeah.
And you tee it up higher. He Billustrated you. He took the Billustrator out.
A real-life Billustrator.
And
he fixed my swing. I started hitting bombs right after that.
He didn't fix anything. He told you to tee it up higher.
Yeah, well, look, man, no one's ever really told me that.
The best part was that...
That's what you're working with here.
The best part was that before he did that, he mocked your advice for Mike. Because Mike hit a bad shot, and you're like, Mike, keep your head down. And then Jay's like, that's just the worst advice you could give somebody.
I'm not crazy about people watching me. I had Jay Bilas standing behind me and his lovely wife, and I was already nervous.
Yep.
And the fact that there's a gallery at these holes and there's actually fans of the show watching, thankfully, I think I've lowered everybody's expectations to the point that I think I'll come off this course and people will be like, oh, the tee was higher.
I think you're dressed too nice to lower anyone's expectations. Like, people are going to expect big things out of you today, and we'll see what happens. Bill just fixed your swing.
Let me answer your direct question.
Can't believe
which
he fixed it.
How I'm taking this all in as a first timer. I know you were out here when it was a little bit more mitigated because of the pandemic. This is unbelievable. We're literally looking at snow caps right now. The lake is gorgeous. It's
everywhere you turn.
It's sensory overload. Yeah. And on top of all that, you got to worry about your golf game while Justin Timberlake is practicing his drives.
I have to admit,
7 feet away.
Going into this week, I was disappointed about not playing, but I felt a sense of relief today. I was just like, I don't have to stress the golf. I can just take in all the celebrities.
You're the best we have, though,
no,
man.
I know. Like, I'm, but I just wasn't like, I was feeling like, I remember last year waking up that morning and being like, holy shit.
Nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today,
right.
It's just, maybe it's just because it's year 2, but I'm just feeling at ease today. I'm having a great time.
I will say, you are putting me at ease. Your presence is calming.
Thank you.
I just need you there by my side.
I told you.
How about Bilas?
When we first got here, Mike's like, what do I do with my hands? I'm like, Mike, just go grab your putter, go over there, start hitting some putts.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I started hitting some. And that was that.
Yep. Act like you've been here before, Mike. Like you belong here.
Well, no one. Well, you actually have been here before.
Yeah.
So with that added gravitas, you know how to work a room. I I got to see it firsthand yesterday at the players only meeting, which that was honestly the thing that I was looking forward to the most because it was a highlight of your trip yesterday.
Best part. It's the best part.
Last year.
Yeah, last year because I remember the local hour that you did, and it was just unbelievable. You don't belong in that room, but you certainly act like you're the guy that's most important in that room.
You walk in and you have the mindset of, I'm going to work this room, I'm going to shake everybody's hand, and then you get in there and you're scared shitless. At least I am. Because Mike, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to get anybody angry at me.
I think what Mike is marveling at is I don't feel any of that.
No.
I certainly don't show it. Like, I feel like I belong in that room.
Your finger guns blazing. Your finger guns are blazing.
Listen, I feel like I belong in that room as much as Mark Mulder. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that right now.
Well, he's pretty good. Well, you actually strolled the first time.
Derek Lowe.
The first time we saw you yesterday.
Robbie Gold.
The first time we saw you yesterday was you actually strolling into that players only meeting.
Yeah. Yes.
So you literally walked in with Alfonso Ribeiro.
I did. I felt really good being late because when you're late with Alfonso Ribeiro, it's okay to be late.
Yeah.
Okay?
He remembers you from last year.
He does.
You went up. Kelsey You didn't have to say hello to Kelsey. Kelsey ran up to you.
I know.
It's
crazy.
It is beyond me that you guys are actually legit friends. He was so happy to see you and the crew. He was
Kelsey
super
and
nice.
Lewis
And Lewis, they made a connection.
Lewis had a nice shirt, and he hit him with a genuine nice shirt to Lewis. That made his year.
So he joined us for a good 20, 25 minutes last year, and he will join us again this year. But there is a legitimate friendship there. I am super proud of it. He and my daughter have the same trainer. That trainer at XPE Sports, Andrew, is a good friend of Kelsey's, a lifelong friend of Kelsey's. And, it's pretty cool. But I've been telling you guys for a while, Kelsey loves the show.
Yeah.
Like, he really likes the show. And you saw it last night, Mike, because he was excited just to be around our crew. Yeah. And we were in a room that Justin Timberlake was in.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
And he's hanging with us.
Yeah, we definitely didn't belong there. But shout out to the people that did make us feel like we belonged. Jay Bilas, who will be joining us on some of the content that we're going to be putting out there. It was good to see McAfee and AJ Hawk. I'm a big fan of what it is that they do. There's no competitive rivalry here. We're all just super happy for each other's success. And now we throw that all away because we're out here to dominate, aren't we, Stugotz?
Yes, we are.
The fans are out in droves. Let's hear you. Oh, wow.
Wow. I wasn't even expecting.
We were expecting nothing.
A smattering. Maybe
but thank you.
Just a smattering is all we were expecting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They thought I was Aaron Rodgers.
Do take two and just have one person clap, Chris.
This is Aaron Rodgers right here.
Thank you, everybody.
By the way, we got to the bottom of our relationship, the show's relationship with Aaron Rodgers, which used to be a great one.
We did get to the bottom of it.
We're at the very bottom of our relationship.
Let me make the announcement. He hates us.
He gave you a big hug.
He did.
That's debatable. Was it a big hug?
It was a big hug,
It was
Chris.
a hug.
Was it a bug? It wasn't a bug.
Chris's issue was not with me. He was very frosty to Mike. I will tell you that.
He was a little icy.
He was.
I mean, I'd pull no punches on how the last year felt. I'm still like a huge admirer of his game and him as a person too. Just last year, look, we were all a little nuts last year, and
got a little crazy.
Yeah, but I don't blame him. Yeah. It's been a difficult year for him. The good news is he still said hello, which
he did.
He didn't have to, so I appreciated that. Yeah. And he hugged you. I think you're good with him.
You are. I know I'm good with him.
You occupy this unique space within our show. It's also partly because you're so shameless that you just bulldoze right through it.
It's the greatest space because me, you, and Dan could say the exact same thing about a person, and that person will end up hating two of the three of us.
Moreover, I think last year you were the harshest on him. And it's not.
I don't know if I was.
No,
I mean, that's
no, you were.
I mean, he pulled me in for a double hug. He wasn't vaccinated. I thought he was. It was a problem. I mean,
but you also had. Look, a lot of people were impacted by it, and you were very forthright with your feelings about it. But
I was.
You throw that all aside when you go up for the hug.
And then you went to a Dead concert the next day.
Yeah. I did. Got another one on Sunday. Witty, just letting you know now.
You're putting your body through the ringer, my friend.
I really am. This is my third time out in California in the last 3 weeks.
You're not doing your body any favors. Yeah. But to your credit, you were hitting some absolute bombs. Flush. You look good out there. And you've been telling me that that's not a good thing out here.
Right.
Because it's almost as if you're getting all your good shots
you don't want to waste the good stuff.
out. But you look good. I think we're partnered with The Miz. This is The Miz's first year. I don't know what kind of golfer he is. I know he looks like he's going to be in phenomenal shape.
Right.
But I think Stugotz has a legit shot to be the best in our group. We're all pulling the same rope. I'm a little confused at this. Are we on the same team, or are we trying to beat each other?
I'm not sure what the rules are. Like, Chris, how did we play it last year?
Last year, it was best ball off the tee. So everyone hits a tee shot. Everyone goes to that best shot, and then you hit from there and you play your own ball. And then the low score for the hole is your team's score.
Okay.
So let's say you get a 5, Stugotz gets a 4. Your team, boom, got a 4. So then that's your score for the hole, and then it's like you guys are a team essentially.
All right.
Like you're trying.
Okay.
The low score of the group is the one that the team uses.
I like this because it allows me to just be like, hey, I don't need to drive.
Yeah.
Like, Mrs. was good.
Yeah, but you have to drive because Bilas took out the Billustrator. He fixed your drive, and you hit. Yeah. I mean, Jay's coming up right now. We love Jay.
Mike Ryan's swing here. Come over here.
He was so kind and generous with.
So was Joe Buck. I got to be honest with you. Aaron, not so much. I'm concerned about Pat McAfee, by the way.
Why? Oh yeah.
I mean, he's 8 years into this and he's already exhausted. He's like, how long have you guys been doing this? I'm like 20 years. He's like, I'm 8 in. I'm exhausted.
Honestly, forget the 20 years. I'm marveling that you're here after the last few hours that you've had. We're now joined by Jay Bilas, who gave me a real life Billustrator, fixed my swing by just telling me to raise the tee. That's a level. That's what we're working with here, Jay. So I really appreciate you stopping stopping by.
Wait, Jay, how cliche was my advice to Mike Ryan on the driving range? Can you explain to the audience how cliche my advice was?
Yeah, you were hitting your left-handed wedges and choosing the target after you swung.
Yeah.
And then turning around to Mike saying, "Keep your head down," as if you're Butch Harmon.
I do
The
like
worst possible advice you could give to a golfer: keep your head down.
I love the driving range because there's so many flags out there that no matter what, I'll just be like, "That's a good one. That's what I was going for." No one knows.
Right.
There's
enough flags out there where you're always going to be close to one.
Yeah, no one knows.
The driving range has a weird way of making you feel good.
Yeah, well, I hit 3 great shots after the Bilas Trader, and I signed off.
And
I'm
just quit.
Yeah, I just want that feeling. That's
a
the
little
thing
bit
about
of
golf.
success, and you quit.
Yeah.
Jay, break down his swing real quick.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do.
We already put the bad shots out there on the internet, and they haven't been so kind. But
I would just like Jay's evaluation. I mean, he watched you. He was watching intently. He helped you out. Just, the evaluation of Mike Ryan's swing.
you're not going to hurt my feelings.
I thought the results were remarkable given
The process.
one, the lack of athleticism,
All right, fair enough.
the poor posture,
Yeah. I'm tall.
and then the lack of turn and quick over the top move.
Yeah.
But once you teed the ball up above, sort of a hair above the ground with your driver, you found that the ball got airborne and that the club actually works. It was actually a very impressive rise in performance.
That is a vintage backhanded compliment from one Jay Bilas. No one does it better.
Put it on the poll. Does anyone do the backhanded compliment better than Jay Bilas?
Just maybe my dad. My dad and Jay Bilas are elite at this game. Jay, I don't want to do the thing, but I'm going to do the thing where you have Jay Bilas for a couple of moments and we just do bash the NCAA. But it is an interesting time. It always seems to be. It really feels like we're at the precipice of overhauling change when it comes to the NCAA. These schools, these big programs, we've already seen it with the Los Angeles schools, and now it seems like there's going to be a big jettisoning from the ACC. I want to know, given your basketball ties to Tobacco Road and this ACC prism, what does this all mean? Because it doesn't seem like they have the forward-thinking leadership in place to be one of the winners at the end.
Yeah, it seems like everything is a game of musical chairs now, where everybody wants to make sure they have a seat when the music stops. And clearly, while the NCAA and all the member institutions talk about education, this is about education, it's about the student-athlete experience and all these, grandiose notions, it's about money. And all these schools are looking to be as competitive as possible, and that means resources. And so if you can go into the Big Ten and make $100 million a year versus staying in the Pac-12 and making 35, they're going to do that. And so it's largely about money, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I'd just like to see everybody admit it, that we're running a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry off college campuses with free labor. And look, I get it. We've had it this way for a long time. But it's going to change, and we haven't seen the last of schools changing conferences because they're going to do what's best for their long-term viability, and the only way they're going to remain competitive at the highest level is to get into these media rights consortia. That's what these conferences are now.
Right.
They're not geographic. They're not like institutions playing against one another. They're media rights consortia, and they're trying to get inventory so they can sell it, and they're going to sell it at the highest price that they can, and that's essentially what's going on.
But nothing says Big Ten football like Minnesota traveling out to USC to the Rose Bowl for a big Big Ten tilt on a Saturday afternoon, or UCLA. I mean, it's a little weird. It will take some adjusting, right?
I grew up in Los Angeles,
right,
and so I grew up in the shadow of UCLA and USC. And when I was coming out of high school, I mean, I can't imagine how excited I would have been if the coaches were saying, hey, listen, we're going to take a road trip to Piscataway, New Jersey. You are going to get to see Piscataway and Happy Valley and Minneapolis in the wintertime. I don't know that would have moved the needle for me.
This is
but hold on, Jay, and I'm sorry, Mike. You would have been happy though, knowing that there was money attached to some of these deals for you as a player, right?
If I could have made money, yeah.
Yes.
Back then you couldn't make any.
Yeah.
But you like that aspect of this, that we just peeled back the curtain to this has been going on for a while, I think, but now the players are getting what, the athletes are getting what the athletes deserve, which is some sort of compensation.
They're in the starting blocks of getting what they deserve. So right now they're allowed to have, as you know, the name, image, and likeness rights. So they can do commercials, they can run camps, they can write a book, they can do speaking engagements, they can make money, and a lot of players are making a lot of money. Not everybody is, but a lot of players are making a lot of money, including female athletes that are killing it because they're more active in social media and more creative, at least initially, than their male counterparts. But they're not allowed to be paid by their schools, and it sort of strains the mind that you can have so many people that are employed in athletics, and then they say, but there's not enough money for us to even think about paying the athletes. That's absurd. These schools are using athletics for institutional advancement in addition to revenue generation, and they're going to keep doing it. And the athletes are going to get their share. It's just a question of when.
The NCAA does provide a structure for all the other sports. We know that football is leading all of this. It does seem that the time that the NCAA is governing all of this is dwindling. What does all this mean for all the other sports?
It means the same thing as it's always meant. Schools are going to sponsor what sports are in their interest. So the idea, couple things. This is not a zero-sum game. So they'll say, where are we going to get the money to pay all this? These are going to be added expenses. The revenue generation pie keeps growing. So when they said the same thing when I was playing, and coaches were making $100,000 a year, and now they're making millions upon millions, and the pie has gotten bigger. So of course they have the money to pay players if they want to. They just don't want to. That's fine. But that's going to change. Like, I think the Supreme Court has signaled pretty clearly that the NCAA better not bring these lame arguments before them again on the antitrust side. But you're always going to see, you have a school here or there that says, well, we're going to drop baseball. And their alumni come up and say, no, you're not. And they wind up keeping it. They've not been canceling sports. When they pay coaches these gigantic salaries, they don't all of a sudden cancel wrestling. They stop sports that don't do them any good. That's the whole thing. And the other part of this that most people don't process, under 60% of all college athletes, only about 60% get scholarships. There are about 40% of college athletes don't even get a penny of scholarship money.
Right.
And they want to talk about fairness.
Yeah.
Like,
they're in part funding the programs that they're participating in.
Well, yeah, because they know.
But that could change as they go on. If their performance gets better, then perhaps the school offers them some sort.
No, there are scholarship limits in a lot of these sports, and it was done for cost containment.
Right.
So baseball has 12.5 scholarships for a 30-man roster.
Got it.
Same thing in lacrosse and wrestling and all these other sports. They have scholarship limits. So you'll have a coach say, Stugotz, we'd love to have you and Mike. We'll give you room and board, and we'll give Mike books, especially after seeing that swing.
Right.
You've got.
You're giving them books still?
Books on golf.
If they come in audiobook, I'll be all right. One last thing before
that little red book,
Harvey Penick's little red book.
One last thing, and you've been so generous with your time. That we recently replayed the infamous sound of you hanging up on Dan, and you corrected us last night and saying I didn't hang up on him. I said goodbye and then I hung up. Was that indeed the last landline in America? Because there wasn't anything more satisfying in that clip, and believe me, there was plenty satisfying. You just flatly told Dan, take offense, which is an all-time line. But
and we don't need to explain it to our audience because they know exactly what we're talking about.
The satisfying click of a landline, was that indeed the last landline you've hung up?
Yeah, it might have been a wall phone that had a hook on it. Yeah, I think it had a hook.
Where were you?
A two-piece?
I believe it was 2009. I believe I was in San Antonio in the ESPN offices for our game day operation, I think. And I had, as I always do, said yes to an appearance on the Dan Le Batard Show. Why would you say no to be with these great minds and
golfers?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
People that have their finger on the pulse of everything going on, not only in sports but in society.
Right.
And Dan started talking about Tyler Hansbrough, who was the National Player of the Year at North Carolina and expected to be a first-round draft pick. And he was asking, it was a question about race, the white American player. And I felt like I answered the question thoughtfully, and with the proper treatment that a racial issue in sports deserved. And I especially enjoyed the discussion about white European players when Manu Ginobili was brought up, who is from South America.
Aired. I've since cut that out of the clip.
From Argentina, which never makes the clip. Manu Ginobili is a white European. But after several rounds of Dan coming back at it, I just said, Dan, I've kind of had enough of this. This is stupid. And he says, you can't. I said, no offense. This is stupid. And then he said, you can't say no offense. This is stupid. And I said, well, okay, then take offense. This is stupid, and I'm not doing this anymore.
Appreciate behind the music on an iconic Le Batard Show clip. Jay, thank you so much for not just the golf tip, but your hospitality here. You made us feel very welcome. That room is weird. That's like your first ladies' night in college. You just grab a beer and head to the corner.
It was weird.
Are you talking about the player meeting?
Yeah. No, it was Stranger last year.
Isn't that awesome? I was such a fanboy. Like, you're talking to all these guys going, hey, I'm a big fan.
I know. But Jay, I spent the entire weekend last weekend apologizing to you because rather than hang out with Jay Bilas, who's always great to us, somehow our show was doing a bit with a magician. So I felt bad blowing off Jay, and so I spent the entire weekend last year apologizing. Jay said you don't have to apologize. But we got to spend some quality time this year, which I felt very good about.
Stugotz, I don't think you understand sort of the positive vibe that comes from you walking away.
There you go.
And you
got your own package.
You apologize.
I'm voting yes on the poll, Jay.
But there was just when you like ditched me for the lounge magician.
Yes,
it was there was a celebratory feel that just went through my body.
Well, the magician did a great job of making himself disappear this year because he was not there.
No, he was.
I didn't see him.
No,
really?
He was killing it.
He was?
Yeah, he was killing it.
I was honed in on Bilas this year.
Yeah.
I promised myself I would be honed in on Jay Bilas. Do you believe Coach K when he says he will not go to a single Duke game this year? Really?
Yes, I do.
How can you go from being the coach of that team, of that university, of that program, to not stepping in the bill? Is that him not wanting to put any sort of pressure on John Shire? Like, what is he doing there?
It's not the pressure as much as it is, because there's nothing you can do about the pressure part of it. I think it's the distraction point.
Yeah.
John Wooden, and I think there's a comparison there. John Wooden sat behind the bench at UCLA for a long time, and he was a distraction. And it certainly, I don't think, was helpful. But, Coach K draws a lot of eyeballs. And I think people would want to, see his reaction to every play, and TV be all over him.
It's funny, actually.
So I don't think he wants to do that.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this, but it's probably gotten out there now that he does this. But he likes Las Vegas. So he and his wife, Mickey, go out to Las Vegas a lot. And they were recently out there. And I didn't know this until about 10 years ago. He will sit and play slot machines. And I'm like, why would you do that? And he says, I don't have to think. I just, I can just shut off and play slot machines.
Right.
So he was at I think he was at the Wynn, it looked like, and sitting all by himself playing a slot machine. Somebody recognized him and took this really intrusive, what I thought was an intrusive video of him playing slot machines. And, I kind of thought when he retired, he'd go right into the pickleball circuit. And but he's gone right to the slot machines, it appears.
It's funny. He appreciates the lack of thinking. He has such decision fatigue from his line of work that he can just totally unplug, and that is his happy place.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the decisions he's had to make, like which All-American do I give the ball to? Which first-round draft pick do I run this play for? It's just been a nightmare of decisions.
It is funny now that you think about it. He would be incapable of not coaching, of not making substitutions, of not calling. He'd be I can imagine him sitting behind Shire calling a timeout that Shire doesn't want called.
Like you guys know him, but one of the
just
things,
reflex though.
One of the things about Coach K that I appreciate most is away from the season. He's a different cat during the season. He calls it battle mode. But away from the season, he's an unbelievably good guy. He's funny. He's fun to be around. And now we get the off-season Coach K all the time, which I'm kind of looking forward to. You always want guys to stay as long as they can, as long as they want to. But having the off-season Coach K 12 months a year is going to be nice.
All right, we listen. You were always great to us when we were at ESPN. You've been great to us since we left ESPN. So thank you for being a friend and a friend to the show. We appreciate it.
Well, I have to tell you, I like you guys a lot better since you left ESPN.
Not the first time I've heard that
from anyone at ESPN.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for the tips and the kindness, Jay.
Keep your head down.
Yep.